right, everybody, welcome along to this Tuesday afternoon market recap. This is now the second recording for the calendar year 2020. I gave you approximately a 10-minute update on Sunday as we moved into the current week's worth of trade. Essentially, that was a major warning video as to the context of the current market environment. Again, the entire narrative of that video I put out on Sunday, it is still very true. It is also very current as I sit down and recap the markets through to, of course, this Tuesday afternoon market close. The markets themselves, again, they have continued to pop to the upside, especially on Monday. It negated that of Friday's candle last week. However, today we saw a little bit of a slowdown once again. We've got a spinning top candlestick here on the S&P 500, on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We have a little bit of a shooting star candlestick. We'll see whether or not we see any pullback through that of the low going back to Friday last week. And on the NASDAQ, I mean, the technology companies have been on an absolute rip, an absolute tear, even into that of 2020. And of course, considering the moves that they have made through to or from at least the second half of October, they certainly have been the strongest, or at least the NASDAQ has been the strongest of the three US market indices. Again, I just wanted to put out a major warning. I do believe a material correction, it is rather imminent. I know at the moment it is a little bit of a test essentially of your patience, of your discipline to actually do nothing. I know it can be exceptionally hard to find yourself in that category whereby you see a bunch of traders, or at least you hear a bunch of traders talking about just how this market continues to move to the upside and how they are being rewarded in more recent positions that they have opened. I still believe very much that this is fool's gold and they are going to get absolutely caught out. So again, do your best. Maybe it's a good time anyway for a little bit of personal reflection to actually gauge how you feel about the market. And if you are sitting on the sidelines, which I do hope you are, just to have, I guess, a little bit of reflection to say, well, ask yourself the question, how are you feeling? Do you feel content about it? Are you happy to do so? And again, I can sit here and say to you, it is, or at least this should happen relatively soon. I cannot give you that definitive date. And I want you to just find at least, or at least try and find a little bit of peace, knowing that you're doing the right thing. Understanding, of course, the majority of market participants, they are not disciplined. And of course, they really don't have the discipline whatsoever to stay out of their market. They feel as though they need to be sort of concurrently in the market all of the time. And as such, it is one of the biggest flaws that I can sort of pick up on novice traders, having worked with a lot of traders over the past number of years. The psychological aspect, the component, the emotional component of technically swing trading the markets, a lot of people simply cannot disconnect of course, sort of objectively when they need to. And this is a prime example as to when you need to simply leave the market alone, allow the market to sort of, continue to push if it chooses to do so. But when this turns, it is going to be exceptionally violent. So again, here we are, Monday and Tuesday. We've seen another pop to the upside on the NASDAQ, to a lesser extent on the Dow and to the S&P 500. But again, I myself very much sitting on the sidelines doing absolutely nothing. And I think, again, it's pause for a little bit of reflection if you are listening to this recording, to actually gauge how you are feeling. Hopefully, again, if you are sitting on the sidelines, and just to accept the fact that the best thing to do at this particular juncture is to do absolutely nothing at all. Okay, and you will be, of course, at least when the market chooses to do, or at least chooses to turn, you will have the opportunity. And this is really where we're, or at least anticipating the market, and at least what we're going to do strategically is position ourselves into that impending bounce. But again, imminent pullback, still looking for it, and at the same time, not doing a whole lot. Apple, Amazon, Google, they're doing pretty well, or at least Apple and also Google have continued a little bit. Amazon is lagging. You can see it's pulling back over really not only this week, but going back to Thursday and Friday of last week as well. That's relatively interesting. On Baidu as well, we have an outside day candlestick on Monday. A little bit of a pullback there, which, it doesn't really come as a surprise. Boeing Airlines is still just holding around the support area. You can see how, when we were talking about the majority of these companies, we're simply just allowing these companies to sit, if not allow them the opportunity to pull on back down and close essentially a lot of those open windows. So again, looking at this, IBM doing absolutely nothing. Microsoft trying to continue to the upward direction. This is Thursday's candlestick over here. Friday's candlestick. We've got Monday, a little bit of a continuation. However, again, today, pretty much flat. So don't feel as though you're missing out on major market moves. I understand everyone is celebrating, or at least they're in a celebratory sort of phase at the moment. But again, this is the antithesis of what we saw leading into 2019. This is purely speculative and emotionally driven, and that never ends well, especially when you have a look at, I guess, the slope of elevation, the angle of ascent. This is largely unsustainable. This is absolutely fool's gold up and around this location, and you need to be thinking about strategically buying when everyone else who's simply buying up in this location are forced to sell to close at losses. Hopefully you'll be smart enough to be buying those positions back off those people, and you will find yourself on the right side of the trade. The right side of the trade is going to happen at much lower prices as to where we are currently trading. So nothing's changed. This is just another update as at Tuesday. A test of patience, a test of will. I hope you're holding in there okay. There's periods in the market where you need to sort of find yourself doing exactly this. And that's exactly where I hope you are to sort of round out this video for Tuesday. All the best, everyone. It's James signing off on behalf of Pivot Point Trading. Farewell.